The joy of watching a cricket match in a stadium in India. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Business of Sports with Shriniwas Rao. Hello everyone, I am Surama Kaushik, your host, and आज हम बात करेंगे क्रिकेट स्टेडियम्स पर उससे पहले मुझे अभी रियलाइज हुआ. Did I just say joy? Oh, I need to correct myself there because watching a cricket match at stadiums in India has always been and continues to be a horrifying experience. Believe me, I have gone through it. पर इस सब को डिटेल में बात करने के लिए आई हैव विद मी के श्रीनिवास राव, नेटवर्क 18 ग्रुप स्पोर्ट्स एडिटर, and there's nobody better than him because he has covered matches in India and across the world for more than 20 years. Hello Srini, welcome to BOS.
Hi, sir, man. Thank you for having me.
So, Srini, you have covered cricket across the globe for more than 20 years, and you have seen the situation of stadiums in India to be particular. I just want to know, when I said the joy of watching a match at a stadium in India, what was your first thought?
I knew sarcasm was coming. Anybody who's seen a match in India understands, where this is coming from. Anybody who's gone through the experience, and I won't call it an experience. Anybody's gone through that pain rather, kind of understands where I'm coming from. And by the way, it doesn't matter what ticket are you buying. I mean, are you walking into the stadium armed with a hospitality ticket, or are you going into the stadium armed with an ordinary ticket? It doesn't really matter where you're coming from, right? So it's been a very painful situation. So you just said, having watched cricket from all around the world, yes, having seen that, I can doubly come back and say that it's a painful experience. And Indian cricket, you're a superpower, right? You're a cricketing superpower. You are to cricket what South America and Europe combined are to football, right? That's the kind of volumes that you generate. And you're talking about you rule India as a country, I'm saying. You rule the second most addressable sport on television. And the second most populated country anywhere in the world is in watches this one sport alone more than anything else. And in Hindu mythology, as one would say, Lakshmi Ma yahan pe virajman hai, as in the goddess of wealth sits in this with the spot, right? Has blessed the spot. तो आप फिर जो लोग इस sport को देखते हैं, people who watch this sport, why can't you respect them? Because they are the ones who are helping you drive this, right? There are only
Yeah.
two stakeholders in the game: the ones who play it, the ones who watch it, right?
Yeah.
So why can't equal respect be given to those who watch it? And I think it's a very serious problem to address.
Absolutely, and this is so painful, Srini, because recently I saw a lot many incidents got highlighted, especially on social media. A lady by the name Shilpa Farke, she tweeted out and she highlighted the apathy, especially for women and children at stadiums. She highlighted the situation of toilet. There aren't good toilet facilities at stadiums. I remember one of my friend told me that he was watching a match in one of the stadiums in Mumbai, the women's match, and he told me that he had to wait more than 2 hours in the queue, and by the time he got into the stadium, the match was almost over. And all these problems are there. Also, these days you book a ticket online, and then you need to have this physical copy of the same ticket, and that's also a huge problem. Those unchecked queues and all of that. Why it is happening? What are your thoughts on it?
Yeah, I saw that tweet from the lady Shilpa Farke. I think she and her daughter had to go through this horrifying experience of not being able to access a clean toilet. I'll give you. I'll come back to this experience of Shilpa Farke. In the meantime, I'll just talk about a personal experience that I myself have gone through, and some
Acha,
guests of mine.
okay.
Some guests of mine had, kind of flown in from overseas, from outside the country, to watch one of the test matches between India and Australia. It's a marquee contest. People from abroad plan their vacations, keeping in mind where India is playing. It is that precious an opportunity for them to watch a marquee series where India is involved. And this year, an India Australia series was as big as it was going to get. And these guys flew all the way from different parts of the world to be in Indore for the third test match, right? I won't get into the details of what they bought. They bought the highest, like they bought the best tickets available. All right, spent a bomb and bought the best tickets available. Trust me, one of the guys, he wanted to use the washroom. All right, he wasn't comfortable using it. Right? Why? When I'm saying that top money, I'm not just talking about okay, kuch semi hospitality tickets. No, they bought as high end a ticket as they could, and they were not very comfortable. So why? I mean, if so that's the thing. If I'm going traveling abroad and if I'm spending good amount of money to watch a game, I am getting the value in return. Okay,
Hmm.
now I'll just move. I've obviously this lady Shilpa Phadke, what she's tweeted, obviously is something which is extremely horrifying, and yes, that is the need of the hour. But I'll tell you how bad we are. This just doesn't stop with the use of toilets. Toilets, obviously, we have never known to have clean toilets. Yeah, like come on, I mean, let's accept it. Gradually, mindsets have been changing. Maybe you really need to get lucky to find a clean toilet, especially for women. To who want to use. I'm telling you, the percentages are really low, and unfortunate that as a country we haven't been able to give this more serious thought. It's a growing menace. You travel across the length and breadth of this country. You go through villages. Men find it okay to just go and like kind of relieve themselves anywhere by the side of the road. Where
Yeah.
do the women go? Where do women go? I mean, don't we have to show basic respect towards human beings here? I don't think that's wrong. Anyways, I'll not digress. I'll stick to cricket.
Hmm.
And well, it's a sport that's earning money, and when I say money, top dollar, big money. It's no other product in India earns that kind of money that cricket does. It's truly breast. Who's paying this money? Where exactly is this money coming from? It is public money,
Hmm.
and if you're
Yeah.
not going to give this back in some way or the other to the public, then what's the use? What's the use of earning so much money from the game? You have to show basic respect towards people. Now, I'll give you another example, Suramya. We are talking about toilets. Forget toilets. It is such a pain to enter a stadium in India. It is
Exactly.
such a
Yeah.
pain to, I myself, I have been through this, okay, I'll wear a press ka badge and I'll go and maybe like some guy is going to look at me and any press hai, jane do. You know, I have gone as a normal spectator also, as an ordinary spectator also. I'm carrying coins in my pocket. Some 1 or 2 rupee coin. नहीं, coin नहीं चलेगा. Okay.
Hmm.
ये नहीं चलेगा. Okay. वो नहीं चलेगा. But why? पानी नहीं. I can't take my bottle of water. What
Yeah.
is this logic? Why can't I carry my bottle of water? If you can't control the spectator from whatever throwing some rubbish into the ground, if you can't do your policing correctly, that's not supposed to be my fault. I can still buy a bottle of water and throw, now if I want to,
Hmm.
isn't it? If I want to throw a bottle in on the ground, that's what you're worried about. I'm guessing that's what the security
Yeah.
guys would be worried about, right? So then why can't I buy a bottle and then throw? I mean, I can, if I have to be a miscreant, I can find out 50 other ways to be a miscreant. And if there is a miscreant there, it is your job to police and kind of bring them to task, and but you can't let a common man say nahi aap apna pani nahi leke ja sakte andar. If a mother wants to take her child to a ground to watch a game, and maybe the child is not accustomed to drinking bahar ka pani, wants only boiled water ghar ka, why? Why
Hmm.
should the mother take it for her child? I mean, I don't understand. It is such a pain to explain. And those guys, who stand at the gate, allowing the crowds to go in, I'm sorry to say, but then a bit of evolved mindsets will help. And यहाँ पे क्या प्रॉब्लम है पता है? I'll draw the problem here. यहाँ प्रॉब्लम क्या है ना? These authorities or these people who, at the state level and all, who are running the game, they think
Hmm.
public will come. Where will they go? We are the ones showing cricket, na? What choice do you
Hmm.
have? You will have to come. That's the thing. And there they need to be made accountable.
Absolutely. And I remember, my experiences at the stadiums. I remember I was asked not to carry any bag, not to carry money, not to carry tissue papers. Even when you're watching a match during the daytime, you need sometimes tissue papers, but that's also not allowed because they tell you to keep all those stuff outside the stadium. And
Very
this is
weird.
really, really very weird. Yeah, it is very weird. But Srini, we need to have some long term solutions, right? What do you think? What could be the long term solutions here?
Well, long-term solutions is that BCCI needs to put a mandate out for state associations to have a uniform policy on ticketing. There is
Hmm.
no policy on ticketing. Okay, that's another subject altogether. The processes
Hmm.
for kind of the ticketing processes in India across stadiums is a pathetic process. But I'll like keep that for another for the next one. Like I'll now stick to the point that well, to answer this question at a very basic level, a long term solution could be to right now sit down and identify how to respect your spectator. Okay.
Hmm.
If you have to check your spectator, identify what you're going to check your spectator for. Okay.
Hmm.
Announce it. You have newspapers, you have ways to communicate, you have news channels to communicate. Be open-ended, you communicate. BCCI doesn't want to communicate, you communicate with newspapers. There used to be a time when local newspapers in the city where matches are being held, local newspapers used to inform the crowds. They said, don't do this, don't do that. And they used to, this process is completely stopped. Now, I can understand that in a country like India, you have to be careful about so many security protocols. All right, be careful,
Hmm.
but do it respectfully. I'm saying that if there is a lady entering the ground, have a lady security officer there fine. I mean, to check and do all your basic things right, but then make sure that if the lady has a compelling issue, you think logically about it rather than being obsolete and rather than being closed door about it. It's like मेरे पीछे एक board लगा हुआ है, okay, tissue paper not
Hmm.
allowed. Now,
Hmm.
that woman entering the ground may have a kid carrying a kid, and probably in a state where she can't do without a tissue paper. Now, don't be so
Hmm.
pathetic that नहीं यहाँ लिखा हुआ है टिश्यू पेपर, it's written here, right? मैं तो रूल से जाऊंगा. Call your superior. Be, what is hospitality? What is hospitality? Like, I book a room in the Taj. Why does the
Hmm.
Taj have to send a luggage bearer along with me to my room and help me open and find out like where the bed is, right? Can't I do that on my own?
Hmm.
I'm an adult and I paid for the room.
Yeah.
Taj has accepted the room, right? So why exactly do
Yeah.
they have to wait for me with a welcome drink? I can do that on my own. I
Hmm.
can go home. There's a bottle of water in my room. I can go there. So why does a hotel room do all this? That's called
Yeah.
hospitality. That's called basic
Hmm.
hospitality, right? You have a guest, just
Yeah.
because you charge them money doesn't mean you've done them a favor. Just because
Hmm.
kind of they have paid and bought a ticket, so your responsibility ends there. No, your responsibility begins and ends with the start of the public coming into the ground till the time the public leaves the ground, and you are
Yeah.
responsible. And talking about long term solutions, well, have a central ticketing process in place. I was watching those videos, Suramya, at Wankhede before the
Hmm.
start of the India Australia one day, or in Chennai before the start of this thing. And you can have 1001 logical, whatever this seems to give me. What is that
Yeah.
nonsense where people are climbing over each other's shoulders trying to grab a
Yeah.
physical copy of the ticket after you have bought your ticket online?
Exactly. Yeah.
What, even cinema halls are not so pathetic these days, right? Even
They have
cinema
this,
halls,
scanner. You just need to scan. They have this barcode. You just need to
exactly.
scan and enter the place.
Exactly. So at best, keep a dozen people there to help your this thing. I don't. Once a guy has bought a ticket online, there's a bar scanner, right? Get in
Yeah.
and improve your technology. That if you have a problem that people are still managing to cut the tape and get in illegally, then your technology is not correct. Then you do something to
Hmm.
correct your technology. You invest in technology. You are outsourcing your ticketing to private companies. What is wrong then? Give them a bigger responsibility. Give them a bigger mandate. What exactly is their
Yeah.
responsibility here? Just that they take the contract from you and they sell the tickets and go. Tomorrow, some guy with a good backend website that can handle enough traffic will can continue to
Hmm.
be in the game and start this business. And what, you're going to give the contract to them? Upgrade your thinking. Try and see what all can be done in terms of kind of, and stop. Please stop milking your spectator. Please stop doing that. Respect the spectator. And there is, of course,
Yeah.
there's a lot more to go into this. I mean, this is a very detailed subject actually.
Yeah, I know, I understand that. And while we're talking about the whole ticketing process, I know that it needs to be improved. But Srini, right there, I just want to know that can't we bring in the season ticket culture here?
Yeah. I'll tell you why we can't bring in the season ticket culture. It's such a pathetic thing. Now, what happens in England? In England, number one, during the English summer, England plays at home, right?
Yeah,
You know
right.
exactly that London is going to host two test matches. Doesn't matter which team is traveling. Oval is going to host a test match. Lords is going to host a test match, right? They
Hmm.
know that if India is touring, then probably one test match will go to Nottingham, Trent leading.
Hmm.
Then probably one test match might go to Edgbaston, where again lots of Indian crowds, kind of to make the most of. And then they'll give a last test match depending on which is the ground which is not undergoing any maintenance, maybe Leeds or
Hmm.
one of them. So what I'm trying to suggest is there are those many test matches that England is going to play at home every year, and those
Hmm.
test match venues are fixed.
Yeah.
That allows the England Cricket Board to start selling tickets at the beginning of the year, right? The
Yeah.
moment the calendar gets announced, so now FTP comes out, the FTPs come out for the next 8 years. So for the next eight
Yeah.
years, England Cricket Board, ECB, knows what kind of test matches or what kind of games England is going to play at home, right? Why can't you sell these tickets in advance at the start of the year? In India, you can't do this because there is something called BCCI's rotation system, rotation policy, venue rotation policy. It is like a dumb list that they have, right? Where there are test
Okay.
centers and
Yeah.
there are white ball centers, test centers and white ball centers. Now, regardless of season, regardless of whatever, regardless of condition, regardless of opposition, our people are going to say no, 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 no. Our rotation policy says test match has to happen at X venue. Now, India has such historic venues, right? India has such historic venues where why can't you keep your test cricket limited to certain centers? Why can't you ensure that test cricket remains in those historic centers? Make sure every year there is a test match. There is a test match at Wankhede. Every year when a team comes, there is a test
Yeah.
match at Chennai, at Eden Gardens, at Bangalore, right? Then use other venues to promote white ball cricket. Right? Maintain the
Hmm.
sanctity of the historic stadiums. Ahmedabad, for example, right? It's got quite a history, quite a tradition. Keep it as one of the marquee venues, right? So let's say India plays 8 to 10 test matches per year at home, right? At most, and least probably could be probably six. So between 6 and 10
Hmm.
venues can be easily identified. Don't just give test matches, like it is some shopper stop coupon program. Discount में आप रख लीजिए. Don't do that. So that, because you have this venue rotation policy in place, that is why you cannot go for a season ticketing. This thing. Why? Because till the last moment you don't know which match is going to be allotted where, right? And then
True.
and then we have this massive freebie culture in India. Do you know, in India the state association has to give a fixed number of passes to the police department because of the security that they provide, to the local
Okay.
to the local municipal authorities because they will take care of the roads being manned and everything, whatever the municipal authorities are supposed to do. Then ex cricketers are going to be, of course, that should be taken care of. Ex cricketers should be like, and then every state association has hundreds of members. Those members are given passes, right? And then there is
Okay.
cricketers who have their families, they are given passes. What about the common man? You know,
Hmm.
rich. BCCI is so rich that it may not care for gate money. But just because you don't
Yeah.
care for gate money, just because you don't care for gate money, doesn't mean that you shouldn't care for the public, right? Make it free for the public.
Yeah.
Make it free for school children, college children. No? What's the problem? Plan it
Hmm.
properly. If you have so much money, arrange a dozen buses from every locality of a city to be heading to the stadium. Why not? I saw
Hmm.
some facilities there at Ahmedabad were done very well in the last two test matches that I saw there. But then you got to give it to Ahmedabad that the stadium is extremely big. You can't help it. I mean, there are other
Hmm.
stadiums that are
Yeah.
not the best, right? So other stadiums that are not so well equipped or not so don't have that kind of space. But make an attempt is what I'm saying. I think sky's the limit. Then what can be achieved? I don't think anybody here wants to even give it a thought that BCCI has a CEO. Right? I
Yeah.
don't know. I track cricket on a 24/7 basis. I don't know what that CEO does. Honestly.
Hmm. Well, yeah, that's a very big point to, think about. And as you mentioned, what about the common man? What about the public who really wants to watch their favorite cricketers and cricket on the top? But coming back to the whole ticketing process, Srini, I want to know that did IPL change anything? Because what comes to my mind is that, लोगों का कहना होता है कि हमसे पैसे ज़्यादा ले लो पर फैसिलिटीज अच्छी दे दो. So IPL के आने से कुछ change हुआ? Has anything been done at that front?
Of course, whatever जो बदला है ना इंडिया में, whatever has changed in India, even to some marginal extent, has changed thanks to IPL only. If you
Okay.
have toilets here which are even slightly better, you go like you suddenly go during the IPL, toilets will be all nice, well maintained, everything. Because they get access to the stadium some 20 days before the season is supposed to begin. Otherwise, the
Huh,
franchisees
yeah.
don't have access to the stadiums, nah. So the franchisees get access to the stadium just less than a month before the. How much will they do? How much will they do? And by the way, do you know every single match that a franchise hosts at their home venue, they pay the local state association 50 lakh rupees.
Okay.
So which means for 10 matches that they are going to, if Mumbai Indians is going to host whatever, 9
Hmm.
matches at home, 10 matches or 9 matches, whatever, they will pay
Yeah.
4.5 crore. Where, no, where should this money be used? Obviously, this money should be used in the maintenance of the stadium, right? Or
Exactly. Yes.
forgo those 50 lakhs and tell MI, boss, entire year you can take care of the stadium. They'll happily do it. Why not? It is
Hmm.
their home. It is
Yes.
their home.
Absolutely.
They'll happily. And same goes for the M.H. Chidambaram Stadium. See what happened at the
Hmm.
M.H. Chidambaram Stadium for years and years and years. One of their stands, the biggest stands, was not even available to public. Why? Because it was stuck in some local municipal corporation mess, political mess. I mean, I don't want to get into politics here. It was stuck in some kind of
Hmm.
mess, and for years that stand was not available to the public. Now, just now, I mean, 48 hours ago, the chief minister of the state, kind of inaugurated the newly built MCC pavilion and all that, and that stand I think
Hmm.
was opened last year. Whenever, like, but the point is, why was it stuck? Because of some
Yeah.
political mess.
Yes.
And that's what I'm saying. That interference. Now, see, Suramya, I've always said in my own shows in the past that sometimes politicians are a blessing, for a sport in a country like ours, where
Yeah.
you need top politicians because it's a country full of red tape. If there are no top politicians and bureaucrats, how will you cut through the red tape? You need them. You need them
Hmm.
because our country functions slightly differently, right? But that said, the same politicians can't end up becoming a bane because clash between them, kind of the stops it. So that way, I'm glad that then stadiums in states where there is only one political party that rules, then there is no headache. Then we know that boss, they whatever they do, they'll make sure that nobody comes to spoil the show. I'm saying I don't want to digress. A point I'm trying to make here is figure a solution here. And coming back to the
True.
point that you made, thanks to the IPL franchisees who spend money outside of paying whatever 50 lakh that they pay to the state association, they still go and do their job and trying to do whatever little they can to keep the stadium in a good condition. Because they don't have access to the stadiums outside of the IPL window, they can't do much. That said, I'll close
Hmm.
this with one anecdote. I remember in 2008, somebody came to give Lalit Modi a presentation on, foods and beverage services during IPL matches in stadiums in India. I remember it didn't take him a fraction of a second to say, yes, go ahead, do this. He said hospitality should be top notch. He gave it top priority. He says, package it, charge money. If you're going to charge money, give them value for money. How difficult is this to understand? Yeah.
Absolutely, Srini. And I know that, this topic is something that will go on and on, but, somewhere we just need to end this. But, Srini, I just want to talk to you about one incident that happened last year in September. A stampede happened in Hyderabad, which was really very painful. So, we really feel for those spectators, and we just wish there is a wish to everyone who's watching this that we don't want to hear or see such kind of incidents in future ever in India. We all go to the stadiums to have fun, and as I started this whole episode, that the joy of watching a match in stadium, people still wait for that experience, and if they're getting that experience, they really need to enjoy it and not have a horrifying experience. As Srini said in this episode, we just hope that there are better solutions and the spectators are respected. So thank you so much, Srini, for highlighting, all the issues and also pointing out what could be the solutions. Thank you so much for joining with me.
Pleasure. Thank you, Suraman.
Know everybody wants to watch a match in the stadium. It's a very different feeling. But there are times when this feeling turns out to be a horrific one. हमने बहुत सारे ऐसे incidents देखे हैं और आज इसी पर हम बात कर रहे थे.
Stay tuned with us with this whole series of Business of Sports with KSR, where Shriniwas Rao, Network 18 Group Sports editor, always comes up with very interesting topics and answers all my questions. But he is there to answer all your questions as well. So do let us know what are your questions. आप लोग हमारे साथ आपके questions और आपके doubts, आपके experience share कर सकते हैं comment section में. So stay tuned with us every Monday with BOS. Until then, stay tuned to Cricket Next as well, क्योंकि cricket मतलब cricket next.